Hi, this is Miss Hamer. I was going to show you how to do an observational drawing. This is kind of like the second step, trying to get to the finished area. So it'd be like 3 steps. There are a few things that I want to tell you. You actually need to look at the object and do an observational drawing instead of just studying one on the internet, a picture of it. You need to actually see a 3D object. Start with your lighter colors and work your way to your darker colors, and don't start drawing it out in pencil if you're going to go back over it with color pencils or a marker. Practice drawing ellipses and practice drawing your shape before you begin in your sketchbook. Ellipses are stretched out ovals, and they'll be in a lot of your compositions. But this is how to begin it. You want to have all your tools, all your colors you're going to use laid out. Color pencils sharpened, ready to go. If it's curved here at the top, it's going to be curved here in the middle. And just breaking it down into sections and visually measuring it with my eyes to get started. But I can go back and measure each section. Measure your height of the bottle in each section and the width. And double check yourself using a pencil. When you begin to put lines in the lid, put them further apart from each other here, then they should be getting smaller as they wrap around. And you can begin by shading darker value to light when you're shading a rounded object. And in this bottle, I can see part of the label through the other side as well. And I'm just using a lime green, a lighter lime green than I was using. Now I'm down at this midsection, so it's straight. It goes in more than the top or the bottom. And you can just use more pressure with your color pencil to get more of the pigment. But when you're working with color, instead of your graphite, you're talking about color intensity. So do you think a Mountain Dew has a lot of intense colors? It almost looks like it's glowing. And so I wanted to try to capture some of that in the drawings. It's also one of my favorite drinks. And it's a little more complicated than just the plain cylinder, but you have to practice drawing your geometric shapes before you go to the actual object. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. Practice layering color pencils and blending them, dark to light colors, yellows and greens, yellow, green, blue, green, red, violet, red, orange, different color combinations, and practice them all the time, and you'll create some really wonderful colors that you wouldn't have thought about putting together. And make notes in your sketchbook of how you got these colors. Don't put any words on the bottle that you're going to draw right now. Mostly just focus on the dark, medium, and light value. So at the bottom of the bottle has an area, whether it's a 2-liter bottle or the little one, it comes down and then it goes back in. So it's darker where it's going back underneath. And this is the bottle, so that's your subject matter. That's your positive space. And then the negative space is the background. Then there's a reflection of an object underneath it it's resting on. So we'll make that a darker color. But I can go back and make the colors more intense by adding a yellow on top with color pencil or with the marker. And I bet you didn't know it, but you can go back with an eraser and you can lift value too. If I didn't want that green underneath, I can take off the value. But you kind of want to plan it out. If you have some really light colors and you haven't made them really dark with other darker hues of the green on this one, just go ahead and lift the value. Make sure you're putting some cross contour lines on your drawing with your pencils as well as your eraser. And cross contour lines are just like hatching or cross hatching, but you curve it to the shape of the object. And we'll draw some more of those later. I'm just going back in an area where I really want to go in there and put some highlights. And I'll use a white color pencil to do that. So this is just like at the second stage, this is how you would start it. And then I want to show you what some markers will do. I've got some yellows and a light green I want to use first. And these are the King Art markers. It's a dual tip. There's a little tip in the other side. So really studying the bottle. I actually have a couple of them sitting around. And it's a translucent quality, which means you can see through it. So I'm going to put a little bit of this yellow. And these are great. The only thing about going over green is you might pick up some of that green value on your yellow marker. So work from light to dark colors with color pencils or your markers. Most of the times I'll put down some marker first. Not only does it speed it up, but it intensifies your colors. It makes everything more vibrant, like it's glowing, which you want with the Mountain Dew, because the product in the green glass creates all these vibrant colors of green and yellow. And you don't get the same quality, really, if you are not drawing this bottle with the liquid in it. So I'm going to put some more yellow on this because I have more yellow on this side than the other. And it depends on the angle. If I'm at eye level, I can see inside the bottle and the bottom. If it's below eye level, it depends on how much liquid's in it, you are either going to see more of that, or if it's up above your eye level, you're going to see more of the top. On this view, I can see a circle inside, and then how it comes out almost like flower petals. It's curving up in the back too. So I have the yellow on here. I planned for a few highlights, and I've got a light green. These are the double tip. If you want any, they're really good to use almost like a watercolor. Always cover up your markers when you're not using them, or they're going to dry out. So here's two kind of intense greens. I'm just going to apply a yellow green on top of some of the color pencil. And what's neat about these markers is you can go over another marker and it blends it like a watercolor.